Hi, you guys. Let's talk about multiplying fractions. All right, so take a look at this number example here. 3 over 5 times 4 over 7. The only thing you want to do with multiplying is actually look across, look at the 5 and the 4 and see if they have any common factors besides 1, and they don't. Look at the 3 and the 7, see if they have any common factors besides 1, and they don't. So then we just multiply straight across. 3 times 4 on top gives us 12. 5 times 7 in the bottom gives us 35. Okay, and so in algebra, we would say A over B times C over D would just be AC on top and BD on the bottom. All right, take a look at example 1. They want us to multiply 5 twelfths times negative 3 twentieths. Well, take a look in the margin. I want you to notice something. See, I wrote 5 over 12 times, and then I let that negative float up to the 3. So I have negative 3 over 20. Now you really want to get in the habit of looking diagonally, looking across to see if you can see any common factors. And look at the 12 and the negative 3. I see that 3 goes into both, so I'm going to divide by 3. Okay, and then on this next line I wanted to show you, look at the 5 and the 20. I see that 5 goes into both, so I'm going to divide both of those by 5. So let's take it one at a time. 5 divided by 5 gave me 1 on top, and then 12 divided by 3 gave me 4 on the bottom. So here, I brought that down. All right, and then negative 3 divided by 3 gave me negative 1 on top. And then 20 divided by 5 gave me 4 on the bottom. So I have 1 over 4 times negative 1 over 4. Well, 1 times negative 1 gives me negative 1 on top, and 4 times 4 gives me 16 on the bottom. And I box my answer. So this is called simplifying, or you've heard cross-canceling, but you want to try to do all of this, and that way your answer will be completely reduced. Okay, so take a look at checkpoint, find the product. 7 over 16 times 5 over 14. So I just copied it, 7 over 16 times 5 over 14. And then I looked across. Well, with 16 and 5, there are no common factors besides 1, so I can't reduce. But look at the 7 and the 14. Notice how 7 goes into both. So I wrote a little divided by 7 next to each of them, and then I crossed them out. So 7 divided by 7, cross it out and put a 1. 14 divided by 7, cross it out and put a 2. And now just multiply straight across. 1 times 5 gives you 5, and 16 times 2 gives you 32 on the bottom, and you can box your answer. Take a look at number 2. 2 over 15 times negative 5 over 18. So I have 2 over 15 times negative 5 over 18. And now look at what I did with my red. I looked across this way, 15 and negative 5. I see that 5 goes into both, so I divided both by 5. So negative 5 divided by 5, I crossed it out and made a negative 1. 15 divided by 5, I crossed that out and made it a 3. Okay, take a look at the 2 and the 18. I see that they have a common factor of 2, so I divided both by 2. 2 divided by 2, I crossed it out and made it a 1. 18 divided by 2, I crossed that out and made it a 9. And now I multiply numerator times numerator. So 1 times negative 1 gives me negative 1 on top, and then 3 times 9 gives me 27 on the bottom. And I box my answer. Alright, so let's talk about example 2. Water use. The shower head in your home uses 2.5 gallons of water per minute. If you take a 7-minute shower, how many gallons of water do you use? Well, solution. Gallons used equals gallons per minute times the number of minutes. So I put 2.5 times 7. Well, we have to make 2 and 1/2 an improper fraction. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So I have 5 over 2 times, and now make 7 look like a fraction, 7 over 1. And I looked across, the 2 and the 7, they have no common factors except 1, and the 5 and the 1, of course, can't be reduced. So I just multiply, numerator times numerator. So 5 times 7 on top, 2 times 1 on the bottom, which gives me 35 over 2, or as a mixed number, it would be 17 and 1/2. So you would use 17 and 1/2 gallons of water. Okay, take a look at multiplying mixed numbers. So negative 3 and 1/5 times 4 and 1/6. We'll make them improper. So 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1 is 16, but don't forget your negative. So it's negative 16 over 5 times, and then 6 times 4 is 24 plus 1 is 25. 25 over 6. All right, so I wrote it again, negative 16 over 5 times 25 over 6. And now I'm going to cross cancel. So look at the 5 and the 25. I see that 5 goes into both. So 25 divided by 5 leaves me with 5. 5 divided by 5 is just 1. Look at the negative 16 and the 6. I see that 2 goes into both. So negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. Don't lose your negative. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now I just multiplied numerator times numerator. So negative 8 times 5 gives me negative 40 on top, and then 1 times 3 gives me 3 on the bottom. So you could write your answer as negative 40 over 3, or as a mixed number, negative 13 and 1/3. All right, so look at the checkpoint. Find the product. I have 5 and 2/9 times 6. We'll make the mixed number improper. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 2 is 47 over 9, and then just make the 6 look like a fraction, 6 over 1. And now look across at the 9 and the 6. They have a common factor of 3. So 6 divided by 3 leaves you with 2, and 9 divided by 3 leaves you with 3. So I just multiplied numerator times numerator. So 47 times 2 gives me 94, and 3 times 1 gives me 3. So you can write it as 94 over 3, or 31 and 1/3 as a mixed number. Take a look at number 4, negative 2 and 3/4 times 5 and 1/3. So make them both improper. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. And don't forget your negative. So it's negative 11 over 4 times, and then 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16 over 3. So look across at the 4 and the 16, and I see that they have a common factor of 4. So 16 divided by 4 leaves me with 4. 4 divided by 4 leaves me with 1. And so I just multiply numerator times numerator. So negative 11 times 4 is negative 44, and 1 times 3 is 3. Or we could write it as a mixed number, negative 14 and 2/3. Okay, now we can of course use all this stuff in algebra as well. So take a look at example A. M over 4 times negative 10 over 7. So I wrote it M over 4 times negative 10 over 7, and I looked for common factors. Look at the 4 and the negative 10. They can both be reduced by 2. So negative 10 divided by 2 leaves me with negative 5. 4 divided by 2 leaves me with 2. So now I just multiplied numerator times numerator. So M times negative 5 is negative 5m. 2 times 7 is 14. So we just get negative 5m over 14. All right, take a look at example B. N to the 4th power over 12 times 9n squared over 10. So I just wrote it over here, and now I start to look for common factors. Look at the 12 and the 9. I see that they can be reduced by 3. So 9 divided by 3 leaves me with 3. 12 divided by 3 leaves me with 4. So notice what I have. I have 3 times n to the 4th power times n to the 2nd power on top of the fraction in the numerator, and 4 times 10 in the denominator. So I just would do that trick with when the bases matched, I copied the base, and then I added the 4 plus 2 to get 6. So my final answer is 3n to the 6th power in the numerator over 40 in the denominator. All right, take a look at number 5, the checkpoint. Simplify the expression. So I have 2x over 5 times 3x squared over 8. So I copied it over here, and I look for ways that I can reduce. Look across at the 2 and the 8. They have a common factor of 2, so I'm going to divide both of these by 2. 2 divided by 2 leaves me with 1x to the 1st power. Notice how I put that 1 so I could see it. And then 8 divided by 2 leaves me with 4. So now look at what I have on the top. I wrote it all out so you could see it. I have 1 times 3 times x to the 1st power times x squared over 5 times 4. Well, 1 times 3 gives me 3. X to the 1st power times x squared, the bases matched, so I copied the base, and then add the powers. 1 plus 2 gave me the power of 3, all over 20, and that's as far as I can go. All right, take a look at number 6. I have negative 4y to the 3rd power over 15 times 5y to the 6th power over 16. So what I did is I just wrote it over one fraction bar. So I put negative 4 times y to the 3rd power times 5 times y to the 6th power over 15 times 16. And now I tried to use color so you could see it. See, with the 15 and the 5, they have a common factor of 5. So 5 divided by 5, I crossed it out and put a 1. 15 divided by 5, I crossed it out and put a 3. Now look at how I used my blue with the negative 4 and the 16. So I divided both of these by 4. So negative 4 divided by 4 gave me negative 1 on top, and 16 divided by 4, I crossed it out, and it gave me 4 on the bottom. And so this is what I have left down here. Negative 1 times positive 1 times y to the 3rd power times y to the 6th power over 3 times 4. And so negative 1 times a positive 1 leaves me negative 1 on top, and then when the bases match, the y's match, so I copied the y, and then I added the powers. 3 plus 6 gave me 9, and then 3 times 4 gave me 12 on the bottom. So I have negative 1 y to the 9th power over 12. Now remember, this 1 can be that red invisible one, and you can let it disappear. So it'd be negative y to the 9th power over 12.